Hi guys, and welcome back to another video, or welcome if this is your first time here. My name is Dana and I am a homeschooling mama to 4 little ones, and in today's video I am so excited to be able to sit down and share with you guys some of our family's just all-time favorite games. Some of these you might recognize because I did put them in my video, I want to say last year, in my what I got my kids for Christmas. So a lot of those you're going to be seeing today again, and I'm going to be talking about really how we love them, how we've been enjoying them. And I always love kind of seeing back and looking back, seeing what we got for Christmas, and then are we still utilizing that today? So all those games are going to be in this video. And then there's going to be a few games that are also just a repeat that I've shared probably for the past 3 years, and games that we've owned for 4 or 5 years that we just absolutely love in our home. And even though they are very repetitive for here on my channel, I had to put them in this video just because they are still ones that we're gravitating towards, and they're still ones that my kids love. So again, we're going to be highlighting some newer ones, some old favorites, and some other ones I don't think I've ever shared before in my channel, but they're ones that we've added into our home probably, I would say, the last 6 to 8 months. One is brand new, but because we love it so much, I am going to go ahead and share that with you guys today. Anyway, with all that being said, I think that's everything I wanted to say before we jump into today's video. So I'm going to go ahead and start with some smaller, like physically smaller games, because these are really fun stocking stuffer ideas. Now I'm going to be doing something, and I'll show you in my stocking stuffer video, I'm going to be doing something a little bit different this year. I'm going to be doing kind of like one main activity or one item with just some like consumables around it, and we'll get into that in that video. With all that being said, I don't know why I was going off on that rabbit trail. I'm going to be sharing games that are smaller that would be great for like stocking stuffers or like small gifts and things like that. And they're just games that we adore in our home. And I know this one is of no surprise to you, but this is Who's Hiding in the Jungle. It's very similar to Spot It, where you take 2 cards, any 2 cards. This one is fun because it has both the bigger cards and little cards, and you have to try to find the common denominator between the two. So we own the Who's Hiding in the Jungle, and we also own Who's Hiding in the Ocean. Because the Who's Hiding in the Ocean is newer, that is the one that's mostly gravitated towards. However, this was on top, so I just grabbed it out of our game cabinet. But you take any 2 cards, and you have to try to find the common denominator. Whoever finds the match in the common denominator first wins the match. But this is great because you can take any 2 little cards and find the common denominator, any 2 big cards and find the common denominator, or any 2. It does not matter, there will always be a common denominator. So what we do as a family, and what I recommend if you have a larger group, is you take 4 cards, so 2 big and 2 small, or 2 big, and you try to find a common denominator between all 4 cards. So if you have a lot of people playing, it can get really competitive if there's only 2, but looking for a common denominator with 4 laid out is so much fun. Highly recommend. But this has just been one of our family's all-time favorites, and it's one of the few games that we actually travel with. So when we are traveling in the spring and summer, this is one that just tosses in the diaper bag. If you're going out to eat, we don't go out to eat very often, maybe a handful of times a year, but on that rare occasion that we do, this is one of those things that comes with us because it's so fun and engaging. My 2-year-old can play it, and it's just as fun for my husband and I to play. So had to highlight this one as being one of our all-time favorites right now. Another game that we have been loving, and this is another little one, so it'd be great for stocking stuffers. This is called The Bears and the Bees, and this is so much fun. We took this with us on vacation a couple of weeks ago, and this is a hive building game of honey and sting. So you have the queen bee in the middle, you put all of your little honeycombs on the outside, and then you build out from there. But the hard part is you have to match the correct colors to each of the corners, so it can get pretty challenging, especially as the hive is getting bigger and bigger. Because it is very simple to understand as far as matching color to color, our little ones can play, but there's a lot of strategy involved. So if you do want to win the game, it actually does get pretty challenging. But again, the concept is very simple because you're matching colors. It just requires more strategy as the game goes on. So much fun. I highly recommend. This is great for the whole family, and it's one of those things as well, whereas if you have a lot of players, this is one of those games, and I'm going to show you another game that we do this with as well, but you can get 2 of them, and because the cards are kind of interchangeable, it's not like a game board where you can't get more pieces. You can get however many of these as you want for however many people are playing. So if you have a large family, this is one of those things where I'd recommend getting a couple of them, and then you can make the hive as big as your table will allow you to. But it's just a ton of fun. Highly recommend the Bears and the Bees. So this is one that is very well loved in our home, as you can tell, and it is just the classic Uno game. However, this one is the Uno Junior, and I'm sharing this because my 2-year-old and my 4-year-old play this together because they're really just matching the numbers, which they can recognize the numbers, and then the animals. So they match the animals and stuff. Highly recommend this, and this is a fun stocking stuffer, again, for if you have little ones in your home as well. So a game that is newer to us is called Taco Cat Goat Cheese Pizza. I want to say I first saw this game at a homeschooling convention walking by, but I didn't get a chance to actually stop and see what the game was about. But when I was out thrifting, I found it, only it was a Easter edition, so it's a smaller version. But I picked it up because I was like, I'm curious, because I wanted to see it at the convention, but I couldn't really grab it and stop and kind of see what it was about. So this game is just so much fun. If you guys like fast-paced moving games, then you will love this. But you have to go around the table laying down the cards. You can go taco, cat, goat, cheese, pizza. And if it happens to land on pizza when you say pizza or cat when you say cat, then you have to smack the deck, and the last one to smack it has to take all of the cards. So you have to do that till you get rid of all of your hands. It's a very fast moving game, and it requires you to really hone in and concentrate and pay attention and have those fast reflexes ready to go, because it is just, it's a blast. So if you do like a more fast moving game, it kind of reminds me a little bit of Dutch Blitz in a slight, as far as the speed of it. So if you like Dutch Blitz, then your family will definitely love the title Taco Cat Goat Cheese Pizza. The next game is Dragomino, and this is the game that we got one of our kiddos last year for Christmas, and since then it's been really in a permanent rotation in our home. I love this one because I like having games that if my kiddos do want to sit down and play together, that it's appropriate for their ages. So last year I had a 1st grader and 2nd grader, and they were able to sit down and they played this like all throughout the year. It is a very simple kind of domino matching game. The goal is to see how many little baby dragons you can get at the end, but you kind of match the little pictures, and then each time you make a match you get a little round piece, and on that round piece you'll see if you get an egg or if you get like a little baby dragon. It is a lot of fun. There is a little bit of strategy involved, so that part is fun for like the older kiddos who do want to play, but for the most part this is perfect for those little years where they want games just to play with by themselves, to entertain themselves. This would be a wonderful option. So this is one that I ended up getting my daughter for Christmas last year. This is called Mermaid Island. Again, so simple, similar to Dragomino, where this is one that we have on hand for those games where they just want to play it by themselves. This is what this one is for as well. So this is one that they can play with by themselves. They don't need any parental assistance. I love having family board games where everyone can play together, but I love having games that they can play by themselves together as siblings, especially in the little years, because it's hard to find games for the little years that feel like an actual game that they're getting involved in. This one actually reminds me of Candyland in a way, so if your kids like Candyland, then they'll definitely love Mermaid Island. So Ruby's Gem Quest, this is a newer one to us. I want to say we added it in maybe 5 or 6 months ago. It's for ages 3 and up, so this is perfect. My 2-year-old loves this game. So really from 2 to 4 years old, I would highly recommend. But this is really fun. So you have a little spinner, and on the spinner it's going to tell you what little gem to scoop up. So if you are in the little years and you're wanting to work on scissor skills especially, I highly recommend this one. So you spin the little dial, and then your little ruby dragon scoops the little gem. The whole point of the game is to get one of each colored gem to put in your little treasure chest. It's something incredibly simple, but it's also really fun, because for the toddlers, they never know what color they're gonna get, so it just makes it fun and exciting, and my little ones love it, so that's why I'm sharing it today. So another one of our family's favorite is Ticket to Ride. We have the original Ticket to Ride. We also have, I want to say, the Europe expansion, but we recently got Ticket to Ride the First Journey. The original Ticket to Ride is really just my husband and I playing, but the junior version is really simple, and it's really fun. And it also requires some strategy. So the whole purpose of this game, if you're not familiar with Ticket to Ride, is you can build the longest railroad across country or whatever country you're working on. And this is a really fun way to also learn geography for little ones as well. So a little bit of strategy, you're just matching colors at this point, you're trying to build the longest railroad and trying to block other railroads or people from building their railroads. So another one of our family's favorite little activities, and is wonderful for road trips to take with you on the go. Again, for if you need something quiet to do. But that's just simple Mad Libs. We love these. I know you guys are probably familiar with them, but especially if you have that second to third grader who wants something fun to do. And it's also kind of educational because they are like picking out verbs, nouns, adjectives, and things like that. But we've been loving these in our home. Another favorite game that we've been loving is called Wildcraft. This is an herbal adventure game. We got this because I was doing like a simple botany study last spring, or I should say this past spring, and this added a lot of value. We actually learned about all the different herbs that were outside. But my favorite thing about this game in particular is it's a collaborative game, so the whole family kind of works together for the same purpose of either creating a remedy, you're kind of like surviving, so to speak. But highly recommend. This has been such a fun thing that we've added into our home this year. One that's actually newer to us is Clue Junior. I grew up loving Clue. It's my all-time favorite. However, this is a little bit more of a kid-friendly version. So instead of solving like a crime scene, so to speak, you're solving the case of like who broke the toy and things like that. So definitely a more toned down kid-friendly version, and we've been loving this because I love seeing the kids kind of use the critical thinking skills and the process of elimination to solve kind of the mystery of this. So I had to highlight that as being definitely one of our favorites right now. Another favorite is, well, I should say a favorite. This has been a long time favorite of ours. It's like a permanent favorite in our home. That is Bird Bingo. We also have the insect version and the ocean version. We love these so much. But this is just the standard, traditional bingo game where each player has their own little game board, and then you draw a little square, and then when you get a match, you of course try to get 4 in a row. So we've been loving this, and they also have like the giant fold-out version. But if you want to play it this way, you can as well. It's always a fun one, and will probably always forever be one of my family's favorites. So along with the animal theme, this is the Animal Trivia Challenge game. We got this for our kids last year for Christmas, and it's kind of made a permanent spot in our home. I will say the questions on this trivia game are very challenging. Every single time we play, we're always learning something new. Even my little ones who are very knowledgeable in nature and animals and who does what type things in the forest. It's amazing. Like, it's very challenging though. I will go ahead and say that out there. I feel like even the easy questions, sometimes they're a struggle. So I will say you will always learn something new when playing this specific trivia game. The next one is also one that I have talked about for years on my channel, and that is the I Saw It First ocean game. We have the ocean one and jungle one. I believe it's the jungle. This is so much fun. You put like a large little game board out. Let me show you the pieces. But it's like a puzzle. So you're gonna put the puzzles together, and it makes like a big circle on the table, and then you draw a little token or a little thing, and it has like whatever animal you're looking for, and then the first one to find it on the board kind of gets to keep the token, and you add up however many points if you want. But this is another fun thing because it's one game board and everyone works together to try to find this, although it is competitive because it's kind of similar to Who's Hiding in the Jungle. It's the first one who can find kind of the match, so to speak, gets that point. So a ton of fun, really simple, and it's just always a fan favorite, I should say. When it comes to a family favorite, one that we've been loving for really all year, but one that we play with all of the time, and it's just so fun. Like, every single person in our family loves this game. But it is called Splendor, and if I would recommend one family game getting, it would be this one if you don't already, or the Bears and the Bees one. The Bears and the Bees one, as I mentioned, you can get 2 games and it doesn't affect the game. You can just stack the cards. This is the exact same way. So if you have more than 4 players, because it is a max 4-player game, I would definitely recommend getting 2 of these because it's not going to affect the game at all. You're just going to be adding more pieces because most of the pieces are just cards and then the token. So highly recommend picking up 2 if you know you're going to have more than 4 players in your family. This is so much fun. The whole purpose of the game, or the whole goal, is to get 15 points. Once you get 15 points, you of course win the game. In order to achieve that, you're collecting resources, you're buying gemstones to buy points, and vice versa. So much fun. There's a lot of strategy involved if you want a lot of strategy to be involved, or it is very simple as in just saving up enough kind of money or tokens in order to buy resources. It's a ton of fun. I love this. I love kind of switching up the strategy depending on who's playing, but it's just one of our all-time favorite games. Highly recommend this one. Last one I wanted to share is a very old one, but it's also a very classic one. But believe it or not, it's actually fairly new to our family, and that is Rush Hour. I loved this game growing up. It was one of my all-time favorites, but if you have never heard of it, although I'm sure you have, the whole goal is to get the car out of like the traffic jam, so to speak. But there's a ton of strategy, critical thinking. I love this so, so much. So the card, this is number 28. The card number 40, which is the hardest, I want to say we had the entire family working on it while on vacation, because this is one of those things that we took with us on vacation. And it took probably over an hour, and we still were not able to solve that one. So it's very, very challenging, but it builds up slowly once your brain starts thinking about like where to move the vehicles. But it's just a ton of fun. I highly recommend it. And this is one of those things that I got because it can be a one person doing it, or you can have multiple players kind of strategize and think about it together, which is also fun. But it's one of those things where if one of the kiddos are bored, they can just go and grab it and play it by themselves, or they can play it again with each other. It's just so, so, so fun. I highly recommend Rush Hour if by any chance you don't have it. Well guys, that was all the games I wanted to share with you. I hope you got some good ideas for if you're looking for games for your family or to give as gifts. I love games, and I'm going to be sharing, what we got our kids for Christmas, and in that video there'll be even more games, but I can't talk to you too much about because we haven't played them because they'll be new to us, but I'm sure they'll end up in a video like this the following year. Anyway, thank you guys so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed it, and you guys have a great day wherever you're doing, and God bless. Bye guys.